Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Yeah.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Got a big show planned today. Got quite a few things to talk about after coming back over the weekend. Joined by Nate today and also Deontay Kelly. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing okay.
How about you, Deontay? You doing all right?
I'm feeling good, man. Just feeling good. I'm feeling good just living.
I'm feeling good. My Cincinnati Reds just swept the Tampa Bay Rays. We're actually been playing some good ball the last couple of weeks, so it's been fun. Been fun to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because my Texas Rangers got swept by the Baltimore Orioles. Yet we take two of the next series out of the Minnesota Twins. So we've been playing some weird baseball lately.
Hey, baseball can be a weird game. That's for sure. Team can be hot, and then all of a sudden they can be cold, and the worst team in the league can beat one of the best teams in the league, but can't beat nobody else. You never know what's going to happen in a baseball game. But
that's the love for the game, though.
Oh yeah. Who's your favorite team, Deontay?
I particularly don't have a favorite MLB team. I just like players. But if I had to pick one, due to me being here, I would say I'm a Braves guy.
Okay. Braves started a series, a pretty good series today. I was just looking at that game. Oh, Braves and Mets start a series today. That should be a good series because both them teams are real good and battling for the division.
But I say, yeah, I like that. I like the Braves. I told you, Chris. Remember last episode I was on? I think it's going to be a rematch of the World Series last year. So, and I'm not going to lie, the city of Atlanta, when the Braves won the World Series, because I was just out and about. I forgot. I knew they won. I forgot they won World Series. It was one of the crazy experiences I've ever seen.
Yeah, today's going to be a real good game because you have Max Scherzer on the mound for the Mets, and then you have Max Fried on the mound for the Braves. So it's a real good pitching matchup as well in game one of this series.
My gut is telling me that the Yankees and the Braves are going to play for the World Series this year.
I mean, it could. I went with my early prediction was Yankees and Mets, but like we were talking the other day, in baseball, man, like just look how many years a team can be one of the worst teams in the league at the All-Star break, and then they can come back and get hot, find a way in the playoffs and win. I mean, you saw Braves last year wasn't having a good season before the All-Star break, lost one of their best players, and then all of a sudden turned it on after the All-Star break. The Nationals a couple of years ago was the worst team in baseball at the All-Star break and won the World Series. So,
Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics do that this year.
you just never know what's going to happen in that second half of the season. All right, let's talk a little bit of basketball because I was hearing an interesting conversation on Friday. So it was something I wrote down. Richard Jefferson was talking about it, and he was talking about how he felt like with the NBA Summer League going on, that a lot more of the second-year players should come back and play in the Summer League. Like he made the point that when he was after his rookie season, he played in the NBA Finals, but he still came back and played in that Summer League right after the finals just just for the experience and to get better and everything and help his team. And he feels like that it would really help the progress of some of these younger players if they would play in the summer league after their rookie season. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I think I would kind of agree with that, because your rookie season, I would agree with that more for the people that may have a struggling rookie season. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Hey, looked at, hey, what did I do wrong throughout this rookie season, and say, hey, maybe I can get more practice joining the summer league and start playing throughout there. Try to prove more on the skills, and then come back with throughout this next season, be better. Try to be better. Yeah. So I agree with that, but more for the people that struggled throughout the rookie season.
What do you think, Deontay?
Can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry, I had to get my cat.
Oh, that's all right. I was just saying, I was talking about how should second-year players return and play in the summer league. I was listening to a conversation on Friday, and Richard Jefferson was talking about how he came after his rookie season. He played in the NBA Finals his rookie year, and then he came back and played in the summer league, and how much that helped him with his progression and everything. Do you think that some of the second-year players that more of them should come back and play in the summer league? Like you got Giddy that's came back this year and is playing in the summer league.
He's playing phenomenal right now.
Playing phenomenal. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with what Richard Jefferson was saying?
I agree and disagree. I think it depends on the stature of the player. For example, Gilbert Arenas, I was watching a No Chill podcast with Gilbert Arenas, and he was telling me basically summer league is just an advanced college game. Do I believe some players? I believe like star caliber players, like for example, remember LeBron James and the Dwight Howards when they got in and they start shredding the league. I think league players in that caliber, they got it. Like the Ja Morant's, how he came in the league tearing up. I think they don't need the summer league, but I wouldn't have no problem seeing some players like I wouldn't mind seeing Jalen Greens, the Josh Giddies, Cade Cunningham, those type of players. They're not transition superstar type players. Go back into the summer league, because even though they're like the star players on their team, it still helps them with their fundamentals. It helps them understand, helps them get more runs. Because honestly, you're playing against grown men, but you're playing against you're not playing the best of the NBA. You're not playing nobody to prepare you for LeBron James, or nobody preparing you for Kevin Durant. You're playing guys that you like, okay, this is the feel of the NBA game. And you can just learn new skills and new ways to perform in the summer league. Yeah. So I believe it. I can say yes and no.
Yeah, I agree with you, because if you're not one of the top stars like John Morant, or I'm just going by young guy, that's why I mentioned Morant. But like you said, the other guys, I think it's a good thing to come back and play. Yeah, you can't put you can't put too much stock in the summer league, because it is almost just like a glorified college league to an extent. Because I mean, a lot of the players that are playing in that summer league are guys that are trying to get an NBA, maybe been in the G League, but I think for a young guy that is maybe struggling or not even struggling, but is trying to reach that next level, I think it's a good experience for him to come back and play. But I agree. Now your star players, there's no reason for them to come back and risk injury. But like Giddy, look how good he's looking now. And then you're getting to play with some of them young rookies that they just drafted, and that can help your chemistry.
I believe if you're building like a young squad, I think the summer league is like what the Thunders is doing. I think the summer league is perfect. I believe the summer league should be is your star players don't touch the summer league. Like the all stars, the all NBA players, like the stars on your team don't touch the summer league. But the rest, like I believe they all should be
perfect for that.
Especially with, like you just said, for young players, a young team rebuilding, because look how much chemistry you can build by playing in that summer league with them guys playing together.
Absolutely. The Thunders are looking very nice in the summer league. I understand it's a summer league, but they're building a lot of camaraderie, and they're building a lot of teamwork, and it's gonna help them in the long run. Same thing with the Orlando Magics. Like all these young teams, they're looking like they look good, and like it's showing like Chet, okay, I need to work on this. It's showing Josh Giddey, I need to work on this. It's showing Paulo, I need to work on this. It's showing players what they need to work on before they get to the league, so they don't have to get, that like them growing pains. The summer league helps certain players have them hard growing pains before they come to the league.
And it can also help a young guy confidence wise.
That's also true.
Say a guy struggled with his rookie season in the NBA, but then he goes back and plays in that summer league and he has success. That can change the outlook at how he's looking at the next season.
I think it was the Memphis Grizzlies that won the summer league last year or 2 years ago, and then they look at the improvement that they had ever since.
And they're a young team
this season, last season to this season. This 2 seasons ago to last season, I guess what I'm trying to say.
And do you think that now that they're giving out championship rings to the winners of the summer league, do you think maybe some more of the young players, teams will start having some more of their young players and playing, maybe like Deontay said, everybody but your stars playing in the summer league?
Yeah, I honestly, I've always been like that. I'm like, some of the stars, because you have a summer league and you have an NBA preseason. So it's not like the NFL. So I believe stars should play in a summer league. The summer league is like a training camp. It's like a tournament for players that's getting into league, role players. Like, for example, Jonathan Kuminga with the Warriors. He's playing in summer league.
Yep. James Wiseman.
All of them are playing in summer league. It's meant for players like that. I don't feel like players like, for example, Zion Williamson. I understand he's y'all star player, but he hasn't played in 2 years. Yeah, I want to see what he can do in the summer league.
I would too. I'd put Zion out there, even though
like one of them guys that were, one of them guys that were injured. I would put John Wall in the summer league. Them guys that hasn't played in a while.
I think I haven't been paying too much attention to it, but I think Jamal Murray's playing in the summer league actually.
See, a guy like that,
if you've been hurt, you might as well play summer league, get your reps in.
Yeah.
Like I think that would work perfect for the John Wall. That work perfect for John Wall and Zion. Because I understand they're not playing like LeBron, the players in their like caliber, but they're playing against players and they're like, okay, this is a standardized basketball game. If I can do this quick run. That's how I'm really thinking about it.
No, I agree. It's kind of like in baseball when they send players that have been out a while down to the minor league for rehab starts.
Yeah, I understand they put people in the G League and stuff, but the summer league will help a lot better too because you're doing it before this year even start to see where they're at.
Yep. No, I agree. That's a good point. Another thing, how much stock should we put into the summer league? Like we're seeing a lot of these rookies, like Banchero's looking good.
I'm gonna say Chris Lonzo Ball was a scorer in the summer league 1 year, and he has not been like that since in the league.
That's true.
There's all summer league players, and they have been. I understand. I think is a good for your growth and development and learn more skills. I think the summer league is good for that, but I wouldn't. It's like what Gilbert said. It's an advanced college game. If you were good in college, more than likely your summer league is going to be pretty good because you're playing against some of the same players and players that's not in that stature that you're still better than.
Yeah, you're playing a lot of players that are college players just coming out of college or been like G League players that don't have a whole lot of NBA experience. So
I'll say Banchero looked good in the summer league. Sometimes the summer league, I think you should take it with the grains of like you do with college. It shows you what you're good at and it shows you what you're not good at. And I think it helps the player like, okay, I'm not good at this, I'm good at this. I'm at more of a professional level. So they're going to look at it like that and they're going to work on their game more into that. I think it helps at some extent, but I wouldn't see like if he was dropping 30 or 40 in the summer league, I'd be like, it's the summer league. But if you see he looks nice and he's looking better and better, I'll take that.
I kind of consider summer league to be kind of like NFL joint practices in a way, with the exception of trying to get a championship and all that kind of stuff, because you get to work on, because a certain NBA player gets to work on what they struggle, but work on that with other players that might not be on their team.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have, because you're right. Because when you practice every day against the same guy, you start to learn what they're going to do. So then you know, I mean, you change the way you're looking at it. Where if you're going against different guys all the time, it's hard for you getting a routine of what that guy, how that guy's going to defend you. Where if you're practicing against the same guy every day, you're going to get the same look all the time. It's a good way to get different looks for young guys coming up in the league and being able to see where their games are at. But I do agree, you can't put too much stock in it, because a guy might average 25, 30 points in the summer league, get into the league playing against the higher caliber competition, grown men, and get in the league and struggle. So you have to take it with kind of, in my opinion, kind of a grain of salt, because you never, I mean, just because a guy's scoring 25 points in the summer league doesn't necessarily mean that when the NBA starts this season that he's going to score 25 points a game in the NBA.
I just think the summer league, like, I don't know, like I'll see joint practices, but I think I'll say like NFL preseason too. Like the Lions can go 4-0 in the summer league. Can go 4-0 in the preseason. They still go 2-14. It's like that.
Oh yeah, that's
the
like
Browns. The Browns went 4-0 in a preseason one year and went 0-17.
You're playing against like the third or fourth options.
Yeah, there was a lot of years the Colts would go. They had Peyton Manning would go 0-4 in the preseason, and then would only lose 1 or 2 games during the regular season. So, you know what I mean? It just depends on a lot of it depends on what the team's philosophy is. Are they going to, how much stock they put into it? Like the Warriors, they play a lot of their young players. They're playing Wiseman, Kuminga, and then you got other teams that don't play some of their younger players. So a lot of it's the team's philosophy on how much stock they put into the summer league.
Because yeah, I get what you're saying. I agree with you, Chris. I agree with you.
Speaking of the Warriors, if Wiseman's healthy and Kuminga with it, you think he's going to be a little bit better than what he was last year. Of course, you hope there's progression. I think the Warriors are going to be just as good, or maybe a little bit better than what they were last year, especially if they can stay healthy.
I'm not going to lie, Chris. That Otto Porter, Gary Payton Jr., those losses are going to mean a lot. I understand you got Kuminga and Moody, but first of all, they're not the volume. Kuminga or Moody is not the volume shooter as Otto Porter that can come off the bench. Because remember, Otto Porter come up as a starter, he could give you still 17 or 18. I don't think Kuminga or Moody can do that. And also Gary Payton Jr., and they lost Juan Toscano Anderson. So it's going to be they got pieces still. You still got Kuminga and Moody, but the defense Gary Payton Jr. brought and the scoring that Otto Porter Jr. can do any efficiency from the three, I think that's going to really get the Warriors. But I still think they're the favorite due to the fact that James Wiseman returns and they're big, and you still got more deeper in your bench because that means you're adding Kevon Looney to the bench, and you can do more versatile on offense and defense in your starting lineup. Steve Kerr's more versatile now, but the Warriors are still up top. But I think if John Wall and Kawhi Leonard's healthy like they are, I think the Clippers is in the neck and neck race with rosters and players. I hate to say it because it's like what John Wall said, you got to put your third option, your third best defender on John Wall. And John Wall is used to, when he was playing, had the first or second defender on him.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put like Steph Curry on John Wall.
I just have to see Kawhi Leonard play before I can confidently say they're going to be a contender, just because he's missed so much.
That's why I said the healthy. If they're healthy, I got the Clippers because you got Kawhi Leonard, you got Paul George, still got Reggie Jackson, you got Marcus Morris, you still got Luke Kennard, you got the Serge Ibaka's of the world, you got dudes that can play. But my finals contender, honestly, how Boston is looking, Boston is probably going to be back next year. And I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's a Milwaukee and Boston race in the East. But the Warriors is the favorites in the West. But I don't think they can beat Boston or Milwaukee because Boston, with that addition of Malcolm Brogdon, what they really needed, and the addition of signing Danilo Gallinari.
Yeah, I think that we'll see the Warriors make a couple moves too to try to replace what they've lost. But yeah, look, Boston, I was a Brogdon fan. So that's a good move for the Celtics, even though I wish he'd still be with the Pacers. But only thing you have to worry about Brogdon is injuries. He does miss.
Yeah,
he has missed quite a few games the last couple of years with back injury. But that's the only thing you got to worry about him. But when he's on the court, he's a hell of a leader, and to me, he's a great point guard, and that was something that the Celtics really needed.
Because Marcus Morris is he's a good player, but he's not a point. His role is not playing the point guard. His role is I'm gonna play defense, and he can score. He scores better than he passes, and then play makes.
And Brogdon can shoot the hell out of the three ball too. So
yes,
the Celtics just gained another lethal 3-point shooter because he shoots like close to 40%.
But they got Danilo Gallinari though, and he's a good 3-point shooter. He's a solid player. He's better than what Thies was. So they got better, and they still only people that really lost is Daniel Thies.
And reports are the Pacers and Suns are about ready to make a deal for DeAndre Ayton.
That's actually not. They're probably going to do a DeAndre Ayton and Miles Turner.
Yeah, I want to see what all Pacers give up. I don't want to give up Halliburton.
I'm not gonna lie, that Miles Turner in Phoenix, that's a good little pickup for Phoenix.
Yeah,
because Miles Turner play. You got Mikal Bridges and you still got Miles Turner, and they both are very good defenders. Yep. And then you still got Chris Paul. You got Miles Turner. He can go kick it out and hit the 3 too, though.
I was gonna say, yep, he can hit that 3 ball. He shoots in the high 30%.
If the Suns don't take him, I can honestly see the Mavericks going after Miles Turner.
Mavericks got Christian Woods though. I think.
Yeah,
Christian
I know,
Woods
but he actually Miles Turner used to play for the same town that I grew up in. So I mean, it is Texas, and Miles Turner is from that area.
Yeah, I think Dallas honestly, Dallas just need another guy that's going to score Luka, and they also need more consistent play because they got to replace Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
that's true. That's my only thing with Dallas. I understand they got Dinwiddie, and Dinwiddie can score, but that Dinwiddie off the bench with Brunson, that what made Dallas. And I honestly think if Dallas can get some more scorers or some guys that can hit threes when they need to and defend, I think they can be way better. I thought Bradley Beal was going to go to Dallas, but I was shocked when he signed back with Washington.
Yeah, I was too. I thought that he would go somewhere
because I thought he was tired of losing.
What's your guys' opinion on Damian Lillard signing an extension with Portland?
Those guys understand the money. I think they just don't want to win. I think winning is not. It's not in there.
Are you saying that Portland don't want to win, or are you saying that Lillard don't want to win?
I think they care about the money more than they care about winning, and they want to use the loyalty factor like back in the day where people was loyal. This is a new age now. I think this is a new age. I understand the loyalty back in the day in the 90s, but you had Michael Jordan staying in his teams. You had dudes, Reggie Miller. All the star players stayed on their teams. They didn't team up. Now we're at the age where guys team up. You're not a finals contender unless you have another star or superstar with you. It's just like that. I feel like that's the truth. You're not a finals contender unless you got some from the exceptions of Memphis, but Desmond Baines isn't on the verge of a star. You have Dallas. Dallas don't have another star. Those are about the only players that's like one in trip. Well, DeJounte Murray last year, the Hawks. Everybody else, you need a star to win in the NBA. Another star. You need 2 stars at this era right now. and Bradley Beal. I understand the max, but I'm like, you can go somewhere. These two dudes are known to complain about we need more help in port where we need more help. I just want to win. But you guys, the chance that you guys had to leave your respected areas, go get a championship, and then you guys can come back if you really love the place.
Yeah, it's not
like you're not going to win in Portland. You're not going to win in Washington. It's just that simple.
Yeah, to me, with them guys is the way the new rules are built, contract wise. It's hard. It's hard. Excuse me. It's hard to walk away from that money because other teams can't pay you the same as that the team you're on can. So it's hard to walk away from all that money. So I understand that. To me, though, just because like Lillard chose to stay in Portland, I hear a lot of people bashing him and saying they don't want to hear anything because he don't want to win. I don't think it don't mean that he wants to win. I just think it does. I agree with you. It does say that he cares about the money, but you can care about both. I just think it's so hard to walk away from so much money. I mean, it's easy to say, "Oh, let's take a little bit less," but if there's a contract sitting there for 200 something million, and if you go somewhere else, you're only going to get paid maybe 100 million. It's hard to walk away from 100 million.
Kevin Durant did it. James Harden took a $15 million pay cut.
No, I know some players do it. I'm just saying it'd just be hard. Yeah. Like if you're sitting there look like
when you see James Harden do it, Chris, that's when you realize like people not talking about James Harden. I think that put a real thing. James Harden actually wants to win.
It is kind of changing the narrative. You're right.
Like he's like James Harden literally got everything in his. All he needs is a championship. He has everything. One of the best offensive scorers ever. He led the league in scoring. He has an MVP. Only thing Harden needs is a final. Dame to solidify some of his career, to solidify that top 75 that people say he didn't deserve. He had, because I don't think he should have made over Kyrie. That's just me. But he needs that ring. Bradley Beal, how he wants to be recognized as one of the top guards in this league, a star that has superstar moments. You need titles. I get the money part, but why you think people talk about Carmelo Anthony like they do now? Because he chased the money, and now people talk about him like how he wasn't. People don't respect Carmelo like they should, and it's because he chased the money instead of the ring. Dame, I love Dame's game and I love Bradley Beal's game, but I don't think winning is their first priority. And I think with these contracts, because Bradley Beal signed a 5-year, I think this will, unless he gets traded, he will never win a championship. I think the same thing with Dame. I think these guys, they just care about the money that comes with it. There's no wrong with it. I just think you shouldn't be out here saying stuff about winning and Portland's not doing enough if you're taking this type of money.
Yeah, I can understand your point there too. I don't know. It's easy to say that like it's easy to walk away from that money, but if it's right in front of you, you don't know what you're going to do. But a lot of players do it. Some players don't. I hope it works out for Lillard because I think he's a hell of a player, but I just don't see him doing much in Portland because I just don't think they're going to put enough around him. They did try to add Jeremy Grant, but I was surprised that he wanted to stay there and go through a rebuild.
I say, yeah, because Portland don't have literally nobody. At least Washington, they have some type of talent on their roster.
If I was the owner, I would just trade both for both Wizards and Portland. I would trade them and try to get a lot of draft picks, as many as I can.
But somebody's gonna have to take up that cap space. That's the problem.
That's true.
Yeah, I was just looking at
and Bradley Beal. I think he's the only one in the NBA with a no trade clause.
Might be.
I'll have to look that up.
I think it's Bradley Beal.
Yeah, it very well could be. I was just looking at some of the details about this DeAndre Ayton to the Pacers move. If it happens how they're talking, then it's just basically a player swap between him and Turner. I'm fine with that.
Want to be honest with you, Chris? Him and Turner, he's no better than Turner. I think Turner's better.
I think Ayton's a little bit better on the offensive end, but Turner's definitely better on the defensive end. So yeah, I mean it's I don't. That's what I'm saying. If they do that, I wouldn't be mad. But I heard some people
do a player swap for them.
I heard some people were saying that they were going to that the Pacers were going to have to give up Halliburton and
they want to
as well. And if you give up Halliburton, there's no way you don't give up Halliburton.
So Bradley Beal's actually the 10th. He's the only one currently, other than maybe LeBron. I'm not sure about if that's part of his contract currently, but LeBron did have it at one point. Kevin Garnett had it. Carmelo Anthony, Kobe Bryant, Dirk got it. Dwayne Wade, Tim Duncan, and David Robinson and John Stockton.
All had the NBA players, they don't really get. That's crazy because I don't see why, like, if they have problems, why they don't really just trade the people. I guess trade the players, but I thought it was like they waived the no trade clause. I think the NFL is the one where they got more trade clause, the more no trade clauses in the NBA. Yeah. The NFL is the ones that got the no trade clauses, like a lot of all the quarterbacks got them.
And see that to me, that's crazy. Why some of these with you don't have a no trade clause? Why do some of these NBA teams say, like for the Brooklyn Nets, for instance? All the reports are, well, Kevin Durant wants to go here. Well, if you're the Phoenix Suns if you're Brooklyn Nets and you don't have a no trade clause, I'm taking the best deal I get offered. I don't give two shits about what team you want to go to.
Yeah, because he has 4 years left in his contract, and I hate to say that, but I understand Bradley Beal because he's loyal to the Wizards. Like Dame and them, they're loyal.
Yeah, to them. The guy's loyal to you. I can understand trying to get him where he wants to go.
Like Kevin Durant, like Kyrie, they did nothing good for him.
Yeah, the way Durant's doing it, I'd trade him wherever I could trade him that gets me the best deal. I wouldn't be worried about where Durant wants to go.
Yeah, because they done the Brooklyn give them headaches. So I wouldn't care about like if LeBron James was in Cleveland and LeBron by the I want to get traded. I'd be like this. Okay, where would you like to go? Certain players that did your organization right and treat your organization with class and did class. But if it's not anything besides that, like KD and Kyrie made Brooklyn. You heard the owner say he would rather just trade both of them than deal with another season like last season.
Yeah.
I'll trade him to whoever has the best package.
Yeah, that's what I would do too. I wouldn't be worried about where he wants to go. I'd just trade him where I can get I get what I want for him or closest to what I want, because what they're asking, I don't think they're ever going to get. How's it going, Stat Guy?
It's going, Chris.
All right, we were just talking about we kind of got back to the Kevin Durant thing, but we were talking about Lillard, how he signed his contract extension, and how some players care more about the money, and then some players are more about winning championships.
Yeah, Lillard, I think, is a little bit of both. Unlike Bradley Beal, I actually respect Damian Lillard a lot more, mainly because Beal proved he was 100% in it for the money by signing the extension he signed, versus Lillard only signs a 2-year extension, kind of putting the ball in Portland's court and him basically saying, I will give you 2 more years to try to build a winning franchise around me, and if you can't do it, then I'm walking.
I wouldn't, you want me to answer? I wouldn't be surprised if Damian Lillard went to one of them California teams. Because he's from California, he's from the area. But honestly, I think like if he goes anywhere, he's probably going to go play with Giannis in Milwaukee.
I don't think he'll go to. I have a feeling he's going to end up in Philadelphia.
Him and Embiid, not even a Harden thing. I think him and Embiid with that pick and roll. But honestly, you're going to have to trade Tobias most likely. But
Tobias's contract will be up when Lillard's contract is up.
Yeah, you're right.
And chances are James Harden's not going to be around then either.
I think it depends on how this season goes if James Harden's around. I think this all of the season goes.
Do you
But
think
I think it's the
better
same thing.
season this season?
I hope so in the playoffs wise. I think James Harden, hopefully he slims down like Luka did, and he goes back into the gym and he's working.
Yeah, and the thing with Lillard though, Portland's in a better position to win than Washington is. And you look at when Portland was going to the playoffs pretty much every single year when Terry Stotts was the head coach. They still have a lot of that team left, minus obviously CJ McCollum, who was traded. But the pieces they added last year, Josh Hart came over from New Orleans in the CJ McCollum deal, and Josh Hart ends up averaging almost 20 points a game with Portland.
Yeah, Anthony Simmons.
You had Anthony Simmons, who was averaging 6.3 points per game his first 3 years in the league, and all of a sudden last year he averages 15 points per game. You have Justice Winslow coming back. You still have Yusuf Nurkic. I mean, Portland has talent around Lillard. Now it's more of just building around Lillard, building off of his strengths and seeing what you can do. And when I was on the morning show this morning, I said I could see Portland kind of pulling a New Orleans this upcoming year where they get into the play-in, win the play-in, and then give that number one seed a good fight and then kind of build off of that.
And they added Jeremy Grant to that team as well.
And that was the one piece they were always missing when they were in the playoffs. They never had a legitimate number 3 or a legitimate number 4 that could take some of the scoring off of McCollum and Lillard. Grant can do that.
Okay. But you got to I think this stat guy. I said this why, and I agree with the Bradley Beal. I think Damian Lillard is both. But I think Bradley Beal is just for the money, a 5-year extension in Washington. And he's been one of the main dudes on Twitter talking about, I want to go somewhere that can win. I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. This was his best chance. But I'm a firm believer now that in this era, you got to have 2 superstars. Not superstars. You got to have 2 stars to win.
And I'm not saying Washington doesn't have talent because they have talent around Bradley Beal. The problem is none of that talent knows how to win.
And then some teams, depending on the roster, some teams might even have to need 3.
I mean, you look at every team that wins the NBA Finals now or the NBA title now, it's a big 3. Not a big 2. It's a big 3. With Golden State, you had Clay, Curry, Jordan Poole. That was their big 3. And then when Milwaukee won, you had Giannis, Middleton, and Brook Lopez. That was their big 3 in the playoffs that carried them through the playoffs.
Yeah, you have to have another a dependable third scorer.
Yeah, I say dependable third option, but I think you need legit a 2-star. Like if you have 2 stars and good role players around them, I think you can win. That's me. But one superstar and the rest role players, like how Dallas had Luka Doncic at first, and how Atlanta had Trae Young at first, I don't think you can win like that.
Do you think Dallas has done enough to help Luka?
Oh, no. Dallas needs to get somebody else to replace Jalen Brunson and add another scorer. I thought Bradley Beal was going to be the guy to go. That's why I'm like, all right, they're going to let Brunson go to the Knicks and they're just going to get Beal. That's how I was thinking.
Yeah, my two predictions were that Dallas was going to get this offseason was Miles Turner and Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine already signed the contracts.
There was no way Zach LaVine was leaving Chicago because Chicago was the only team that could give him $200 million. Nobody else could give Zach LaVine more than $180. He was going to leave $25 million on the table.
Yeah, the way the NBA rules are, they make it a lot harder for them players to leave teams earlier like that because of that. A lot of them players, they don't want to leave $25-30 million on the table.
I'm not gonna lie, with that Zach LaVine deal, nobody else was gonna give him that type of money. So
that's why as soon as they showed like what the Bulls could give him compared to what everybody else could give him, there was no way Zach LaVine was gonna leave Chicago for anybody else just because of what Chicago could give him compared to anybody else.
I say yeah, and I like the Bulls roster. The Bulls roster not bad. Adding Drummond, that gives them a very much.
If they can just stay healthy, that was their
The thing was last year before Lonzo Ball and Caruso and all those guys went out, they were 39-21, and they had the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference before all those injuries happened. And throughout their 82-game season, they had a healthy roster for a grand total of 5 games. Kobe White missed the first 2 weeks of the season. Then Patrick Williams was injured for like the first 4.5 months of the season. So the Bulls had a healthy roster for 5 games, and they were 5-0 when their roster was completely healthy.
Yeah. And they had some COVID issues too, to even compound those injuries. So
14 players missed time due to COVID.
That guy. We also talked about how much stock do you put in the summer league?
I actually watch the summer league compared to a lot of people that don't, but I'm kind of on the fence about it now. And I wrote a column on this a couple months ago about a proposition that I think the NBA should invest in. I think they should do away with the summer league and have the NBA G League play a summer season. Instead of having the G League go on from November through February, November through March like it typically does now, have like a 30-35 game summer season that starts basically the first week in July when the summer league would start, run it all of July, run it into August, and then have it end right before training camp starts. That way all the players that have a two-way deal can sign with the NBA team right after the season is over. That way the G League gets the focus that they deserve to have because the G League doesn't get enough focus.
Yeah, that makes sense. I watched the summer league. I like watching it. I think it's fun to watch. It's competitive. But I do agree with you.
Because what is the summer league? What is the summer league for? The summer league is for rookies or second-year players who didn't get much experience in their rookie season that want to get better. Then you look at what the G League is. The G League is the exact same thing.
Yep.
It's basically an extension of what the summer league was, except every team has a set roster of 12 or 13 players, and then they play a regular season game. Why do a summer league for 5 games and then wait like 3 months until the G League starts when you can just do a full 35, 40 game G League season throughout the summer and play it the same way as the summer league would be played?
Yep. Well, I like that idea. Because we were just talking about it. That right there is kind of takes care of that problem. Was that should more second year players return and play in the summer league? I was listening to a conversation. Richard Jefferson was talking about how he played in NBA Finals as a rookie, but he still came back and played in the summer league the second year to try to get even better, and how he felt like more second year players should be playing in the summer league.
Yeah, and that's why the only way that you can watch the NBA G League is if you have ESPN Plus and things like that. But if you were to have the G League happen this time of year and play it the entire month of July and into August, you could put it on ESPN. You could put it on all these other networks because there's nothing but baseball on at this time of year, and baseball isn't played 5 days a week. Baseball is being played at 7 o'clock at night. So that whole 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. window, Monday through Friday, you could have literally open for the G League to showcase themselves.
There's usually like maybe 1 or 2. Frankie just said breaking news. But anyway, Heinz Field is now called Actors Field? Actors Stadium?
You talking about the Steelers?
Yeah, Steelers.
Yeah, they just renamed their stadium.
Yeah, it's called like Acrisure Field.
Acrisure, yeah.
You know, like,
I kind of like Heinz Stadium better, but
when he said breaking news, I thought he was talking about a trade or something.
I'm sure I can know it's Kevin Durant or Kyrie.
Where do you guys think Durant's going to end up at? I think both of them are probably going. Well, I think both of them are going to start the season with the Nets, and I think Kyrie will end up getting traded probably by the trade deadline.
I think Durant ends up in Phoenix.
Even if they trade away Ayton today,
I think if Ayton goes, it's going to be a 3-team deal where Durant's going to end up in Phoenix, Ayton's going to end up in Indiana, Miles Turner's going to end up in Brooklyn, and then Phoenix will turn around and trade for Nikola Vucevic to give them a center.
Okay. What do you think, Nate?
I think I think I kind of agree with the first part of that statement. KD is probably going to. I could see him going to any other team. I don't see him staying. But I see either Raptors or the Suns being one of those two. And then my prediction is wherever he goes, I think that the head coach is going to get fired immediately right after he's gone.
Huh.
Steve Nash is immediately going to get fired because he's just basically the Jason Garrett of the NBA. He doesn't really do anything except for being a motivational coach.
That's why I don't think Steve Nash will get fired, because it's going to finally give people a chance to see if Steve Nash is a good coach or not.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he'll get fired because they need to see what he can do when he has the respect of the team. Because with the comments about with Kyrie and them saying we don't need a coach, if your leaders of your supposed leaders of the team don't respect the coach, the younger players aren't going to give that coach that respect.
I mean, look at
the only reason I think that he hasn't gotten fired now is because Kevin Durant really wants to control that team. He wants to really be the coach, even though he's a player.
But look at Tyronn Lue, for example. The year after LeBron James leaves, Tyronn Lue sucks. They fire him in Cleveland. He ends up going to the Clippers and makes the playoffs. They finally had a chance to see what Tyronn Lue could do as a coach this year, and he made the playoffs without Kawhi Leonard on the court at all.
Yep.
And LeBron James tried to control Cleveland every single year that he was there. He ends up going to the NBA Finals with David Blatt and basically ran David Blatt out of town.
Yeah, that is true. You do got a point on that.
Like, LeBron James tried to control Cleveland every single year. The only team that LeBron James did not control was obviously Miami, because Pat Riley's there. And no one's going to control that team except Pat Riley. But every time LeBron James was in Cleveland, he literally tried to dictate what Cleveland did. He literally ran a head coach that had almost a 700 winning percentage with Cleveland in 3 years out of town. Just because David Blatt couldn't beat Golden State in the finals, he ran him out of town. He had like a 705 winning percentage with Cleveland.
But in that with the Lakers as well. I mean, he's the reason Westbrook's there.
He's the reason Westbrook's there, and he's the reason why Frank Vogel doesn't have a job.
Damian says KD's going to Golden State. He ain't got no choice but to go back to the Warriors.
Oh, he has a choice because the Warriors won't take him back. They don't need him.
Frankie says, breaking news: the Pacers back out of the NBA.
Golden State doesn't need, nor do they want Kevin Durant back.
That's all right, Frankie. The Reds are going to put a whooping on your Yankees this week.
I do think that they're going to take a game. I don't think it's going to be a Yankee sweep, but I don't think the Reds are going to whoop them.
We'll see. The Reds are playing good right now, but who knows how long that's going to last? I'm not going to get too.
It's a 3-game series, right?
I believe so.
If it's a 3-game series, I have the Yankees taking 2 of them.
Reds played real well against the Rays this weekend. Our started pitching has been pitching good. It's our bullpen. Our bullpen's fucking terrible. Deontay, where you think KD ultimately ends up at?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I wouldn't. So personally, if I had to pick, I don't know, because it depends on what everybody's asking for. It's like what he's asking for, because it's all what the Nets are asking for him. Because Sean Marks, it seemed like he's adamant. You got to basically give up your whole future for KD. I wouldn't mind seeing KD in Toronto. I think Toronto will be a good fit. Believe it or not, I'm not going to lie, Golden State probably can give up the best trade package. You have many teams can give up a good package. Miami can give up a good trade package. I think we'll see Kevin Durant in either Miami or Toronto. He's going to stay in the East. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's in Golden State due to the fact they could trade Jordan Poole, James Wiseman, and a couple picks for him. Because they want an all-star level player. Because you look at the package, they want an all-star level player, a young player, and a couple first-round picks.
Oh,
wow. And the Rays play the Red Sox, not the Yankees, but
Rays are full of injuries.
Frankie's just coming at you today, Chris.
Oh yeah, he was coming at me this morning. Warriors don't need KD, but KD does if he wants to win a championship. Then Yuki asked, they changed it to Acrisure Stadium. What the hell happened behind? Did the contract expire or something? The contract must have been expired, and Acrisure probably I'd say it probably outbidded Hines.
Heinz Field just sounds better.
It does. Heinz Field is like more legendary.
Did you guys see the top 10 quarterback list that ESPN put out?
No, I didn't.
Is Justin Herbert number 5? Is in the top 5? That's all.
I think Herbert was 6 or 7.
But I didn't see the list because I've been feeling
Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's wasn't in the top 10.
That sucks. I think he's a top 10 player.
No, I don't. Not yet.
I'd have to pull the list up. I can't remember the top 5 now.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is 1. Patrick Mahomes is 2. Josh Allen 3. Tom Brady 4. Joe Burrow 5. Stafford 6. Herbert 7. Wilson 8. Watson 9. And Prescott 10.
Okay. Prescott 10? Dak?
Yep.
Talking about
Dakota Lee.
I'm actually surprised they didn't put Dak Prescott higher.
Excuse me? That man.
He's a top 5, maybe last 5-minute quarterback. He doesn't get his stats until fourth quarter.
I think I'd put Lamar Jackson in over Dak.
I would have put Derek Carr over Dak.
I was thinking the same thing. I would have put Derek Carr and Lamar Jackson over Dak.
Do you guys agree with Aaron Rodgers being at number 1?
No.
I don't, but he's a back-to-back MVP, so.
What about the top 5? Would you make?
I think Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. That's just me.
I have Mahomes,
and I hate,
too.
And I'm a Chargers fan.
I would make 2 changes in the top 5. That's it. I would switch Mahomes with Rodgers, and I would switch Burrow with Brady.
Okay, so you wouldn't add nobody new.
I would just switch Rodgers and Mahomes, and I would switch Burrow and Brady. Josh Allen's number 3.
I think Josh Allen's 2.
I have Josh Allen 1, Mahomes 2. I'd probably put Brady at 3.
I'll say I got Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2. I'll put Brady 3, Rodgers 4, Burrow 5. I could do Stafford 6, 7.
I think the top 8 for the most part are what they should be. I think 9 and 10 is where how you can put Deshaun Watson in there when he hasn't played football in 2 years.
Yeah, that was going to be my next next question.
Yeah. How do you put Deontay, the only difference between your top 5 and my top 5 is who you have at 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think everybody thinks in that's casual hardcore football fan thinks it's Mahomes and Allen 1 and 2. I think everybody thinks it's Mahomes and Allen is 1 or 2. I think everybody top 5 is that because Joe Burrow is in my top 5.
Damian Mahomes is not a top 5 QB. Top 10 maybe, but definitely not top 5.
Mahomes is an MVP, Super Bowl MVP, and ever since he's been in the league, he's been in the AFC Championship and won a division 4 or 5 straight times in a row. Mahomes is the best quarterback in football.
I'm a Broncos fan, and it pains me this. I put him at number 2.
The reason why Mahomes is the best quarterback in football is what he had to do last year. You look at the start that he got off to last year and how he had to adjust the way he played football basically on the fly because of how defenses are playing him. Yep. And then he ended up playing like an MVP the final 2 months of the season because Kansas City won 9 straight games.
People don't realize how they played Mahomes last year is how they just played Tyreek Hill is not finna just beat us off the top and we're So Mahomes had to learn, okay, so I got to take some of these in routes. Like, so Mahomes played. I'm a Chargers. I'm a diehard.
It took Mahomes 6 weeks to figure out how to play a new style, and then when he figured it out, it was nobody was going to stop him again.
Yes, I'm a diehard Chargers fan, and I have to say, Mahomes is the best quarterback in football.
Oh, I agree. I think Mahomes is the best right now. I agree with what Dustin said. The top 8's pretty good. I just don't understand how Deshaun Watson was in there or Dak Prescott, because I'd put Derek Carr over both of them at this point.
And if we're going off of a number side of things, I put Kirk Cousins at number 10 because of the year that Kirk Cousins had last year.
I agree. Kirk Cousins to me is better than Dak Prescott. Kirk Cousins to me gets a raw deal.
He does.
The
only thing I don't like about not Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins is the contract he's signed.
Why is it his fault though?
Kirk Cousins is the king of contracts.
Why is it Kirk Cousins' fault that he got that contract? It's not.
And the thing is, and we gotta start realizing, looking at the quarterback, like Tom, when he's in there in free agency, he's arguably the one or two best quarterback that's out there at that time.
If you compare Kirk Cousins' numbers to Aaron Rodgers' numbers through the first 10 weeks of the season last year, Cousins had a higher completion percentage. He was at like 70.1%. Rodgers was at 67%. Through 10 games, Kirk Cousins was at 2,400 yards passing. Rodgers was at 22. Through 10 games, Kirk Cousins had 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers had 24 touchdowns and 3 picks. Cousins had better numbers than Aaron Rodgers 10 weeks through that season, and then he had one game where he threw 3 interceptions. So basically, the first half of the season, Kirk Cousins was playing better than the actual MVP. It wasn't his fault that the defense couldn't stop anybody in the fourth quarter. There was a reason why Minnesota had the lead in 15 of the 17 games they played last year, and there's a reason why they had the lead 10 times in the fourth quarter, and that was because of Cousins, not because of anybody else.
And they got they hired a new coach this year too.
And honestly, if you want to be real, Minnesota is not Minnesota. Like their defense is a big key of why they're who they are.
Minnesota had the number 3 scoring offense in the NFL last year, but their problem was they were ranked 30th in defense.
Yeah, last year their defense was terrible.
But Minnesota for the past 2 years it wasn't Kirk. It's literally been the defense that's one of the worst in football.
Exactly. And Kirk has been the reason why they've been in so many games. Because he single-handedly carried them into the fourth quarter and put them in a position to win, only to have the defense or special teams let them down.
Kirk was only good in Washington. You must not watch many Vikings games. Yeah, Kirk
36 touchdowns and 7 interceptions is what Kirk Cousins had last year, but that's not good.
I think Kirk Cousins is very underrated. I think he gets a slack for his name because people said during the big games he's not who he is. But I think Kirk Cousins get a bad rep. That's just me.
I would probably put Derek Carr number 9 and then Kirk Cousins 10.
And where it all start.
No, I think Lamar. I think I'll put Lamar 9 and Derek Carr 10. I think Derek Carr's the most underrated quarterback in football. And
yeah,
I'll say that with ease. And I'm a Chargers fan, and I'm saying that.
I'm a Broncos fan. I'm agreeing with you.
Like Derek Carr is the most underrated quarterback in football, and he's arguably him and Stafford are the 2 best quarterbacks in the clutch. And I don't want to argue with that. Like they're the 2 best quarterbacks in the clutch. Derek Carr in the fourth quarter is a problem. Like if he's down 10 points or less, there's a chance he can win that game. And plus, he's one of the best leaders. Last year shows he's one of the best leaders in the NFL too. With the Ruggs, the John Gruden, that whole situation proves to show that Derek Carr is one of the best leaders in football. And I honestly think the team loves him.
That's why they were willing to pay Devontae Adams the money they paid him, because that's who Derek Carr wanted.
Yeah, Derek Carr's a very good quarterback.
What worries me about the Raiders is who they hired as their head coach.
That doesn't worry me.
You think he learned?
I think he learned.
It worries me because of what he did. It only worries me because of what he did with Denver.
Are you talking about Josh McDaniels?
It doesn't worry me because he doesn't have Tim Tebow. And at the point when he was in Denver, I think Josh McDaniels was in a position where he was forced to start Tim Tebow because of what Tim Tebow brought to the table, because of all the media hype surrounding Tim Tebow and the college career that Tebow was just coming off of. Josh McDaniels was put in a lose-lose position where if you don't start Tebow, the city of Denver is going to crucify you for not starting him. But if you start Tim Tebow and you fail, then you're going to be out of a job, which is what happened. He was in a lose-lose situation in Denver because I think he got forced to start Tebow before he should have been starting. Kirk Cousins' only opportunity in the playoffs, what did he do? He went on New Orleans in the road, led a fourth quarter comeback into overtime, then hits Kyle Rudolph in the back of the end zone for a touchdown to beat the Saints on the road. Then he goes into San Francisco in the NFC division game and actually has Minnesota with 3 points to beat the 49ers, only to lose by 10. Yeah, he played well in the playoffs.
There's sometimes a good quarterback can be on a team that doesn't make the playoffs. I mean, we've seen that happen many times.
Matthew Stafford.
I mean, yeah, Stafford's been a lot of guys, but like you,
but he's like the biggest.
Just said, Cousins has had success in the playoffs.
Besides Derek Carr, I mean, I think Stafford was the biggest example of why a quarterback winning by Matthew Stafford is the biggest example, and I say that because he got traded to the Rams and won a Super Bowl right after. He's the biggest example of Team Rucker not being a quarterback stack.
Oh, you do got a point on that. I give you your point on that. I just think Stafford was in a very bad position for a very long time. And quarterbacks don't really move in football a lot.
And with Cousins, this is going to be one of the first times he's had a offensive-minded coach, especially in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Because Zimmer was supposed to be all about defense.
So don't bring up Mike Zimmer's name anymore.
And he failed big time on defense, especially the last season. Their defense hadn't been good for a couple of years, though, have they?
Nope, because Mike Zimmer lost that locker room 2 years ago. If you look at all the reports as to what's been going on with Mike Zimmer the last 2 years, it's amazing that he hung on as long as he hung on in Minnesota. The fact that you have a guy in Eric Kendricks and Harrison Smith, probably two of the most mild-mannered NFL players that never speak at all. Like, you never hear anything coming out of their mouths. Basically throwing Zimmer under the bus, telling the media that we tried to give Mike Zimmer suggestions, and he basically called us stupid and acted like we didn't exist.
Mike Zimmer wasn't bad for a very long. He wasn't bad. I just think he just
the first 5 years in Minnesota, he was good.
I think he just stuck in his old ways.
Yeah, his first 5 years in Minnesota, he was a good coach. And then when his old ways were no longer working, he refused to change.
I was gonna say he couldn't adapt.
And that's when he started to lose the locker room because everybody else was telling him like what they needed to do to get better offensively, what they needed to do to get better defensively. And he basically would call everybody stupid. He would ignore people, and that's exactly why. And this is another reason why I think Kirk Cousins gets a bad rap. He's been in Minnesota for 7 years now. No, 6 years. This will be his sixth year with Minnesota. This is going to be his sixth different offensive coordinator since being in Minnesota. Because nobody can stand working with Mike Zimmer, so Mike Zimmer fires him.
I was asked once, who are my favorites, like Super Bowl favorites this year. And I actually put I said the Rams for the NFC, but if the Rams don't make it, my runner-up, my dark horse runner-up team would probably be the Minnesota Vikings.
A lot of people are saying that because of Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah,
you're talking about I think the dark horse team in the NFC, Vikings is one. I think Vikings are a playoff team for sure.
A lot of people saying because of Kevin O'Connell going there, and then the offensive coordinator that he brought with him was the passing game coordinator with the Rams last year. You bring an offensive-minded head coach with a passing game coordinator that gave Matthew Stafford the best year of his career, and you put that with Kirk Cousins, A lot of people are saying if Minnesota's defense even improves from being ranked 29th last year to even 15th, that's an 11-12 win football team that no one's going to want to play.
As long as your defense is in the middle of the pack, you're going to have a good chance.
And they brought in Denver's old defensive coordinator, so that's going to drastically help the defense to begin with.
And they have good weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Their offensive line isn't too bad, is it?
No, their offensive line was a top 10 unit last year. Kirk Cousins was sacked the third fewest times in the NFL last year.
So mainly their biggest weakness was the defense because like they got good wide receivers so
they got probably the best wide receiving duo in football, the Vikings, with Thielen and Jefferson. But I'm gonna be real though. I think you guys are the tie for dark horse.
They got Irv Smith coming back in Minnesota
too
this year.
You guys, the Eagles and the Saints are in the same boat. That you guys have the potential of winning.
The Eagles, I agree with you just because they added AJ Brown into the mix, but I don't know if I can trust Jalen Hurts yet.
That's what worries me about the Eagles is Hurts.
I might be the minority on this, but if Gardner Minshew was the starter, I would trust Philadelphia more than with Jalen Hurts. Because Gardner Minshew actually played very well in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that is true.
And he had no weapons in Jacksonville outside of DJ Chark. And now you would give him AJ Brown, you'd give him the weapons that he had in Philadelphia. I think they have a better chance to make a deep playoff run with Gardner Minshew than they do with Jalen.
I like Gardner Minshew when he was in Jacksonville.
Oh yeah.
But I think Philly, but they were the number one rushing attack in football last year. So I honestly think they can do that. They can do that play action game and run the ball. I understand, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to improve. Saints, I'm really big on the Saints.
I'm big on the Saints because of Landry.
Yeah, the addition of Landry in addition to Tyrann Mathieu.
And you pair him with Michael Thomas if he comes back healthy. They had
they just drafted Chris Olave. Who
was the other receiver that they had that showed up last year? Was it Marcus Callaway? Yeah, you have those four, and you had a Jameis Winston who was 5-2 before he got hurt, and with 13 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, he was actually playing like a top pick last year.
And you can use Taysom Hill how you're supposed to use him as your gadget weapon guy.
And the Saints defense is very underrated, and now your defensive coordinator and Dennis Allen
is underrated. I think the Saints defense is the best in the NFL.
Nobody ever gave him that credit, though.
I personally think the Saints. I always Saints got the best defense in football. I think the Eagles got arguably the best front line, but the Saints got players in every aspect on defense.
Nobody gave them credit for it, and now the mastermind behind that, Dennis Allen, is going to be the head coach. So obviously the defensive scheme's not going to change.
I think that Tyrann Mathieu, they're going to use him more as a Brian Dawkins type.
Yep. So he's not going to change his defensive scheme. He's just going to take over as a head coach. The assistant head coach, who I believe was the defensive line coach last year, is just moving on to be the defensive coordinator. So nothing's going to change on that side of the ball.
And if Winston don't get hurt last year, the Saints
probably won the division.
Yeah, Saints probably won that division.
Winston doesn't win the division.
Maybe made a deep. Who knows what would have happened?
I think the Saints would have won that division.
Eagles are kind of a weird team because they're the only team in the NFL that I really don't trust their quarterback, but I'm not sure if I really care about that.
All right, Nate, how you feel about Miami?
Miami?
I think
Miami's finishing last in the AFC East.
They might finish last.
Miami's finishing last in the AFC East.
If you're more confident in Miami than you are the Eagles, that's a problem.
Yeah. Miami's finishing last in the AFC East. Tua Tagovailoa is going to get exposed big time this year, and I mean big time. I
think he's going to be third because I don't think Tua's going to be.
He's not. Tua's going to lose the job. Tua's losing his job by week 8.
I'd say week 7, but
if Teddy Bridgewater is taking over for your team in week 7, your season's over at that point.
I think he's going to lose it. I think he's probably going to go 500, and Teddy Bridgewater is going to manage the game more.
No, but I'm just saying if Miami has to move on from Tua 7 weeks into the season, their season's already over. Like, if they're giving up on him that quick, that means their season's already over and they have no hopes of saving it. I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater's a bad quarterback, but there's a reason why Brian Flores has wanted to move on from Tua the last 2 years. There's a reason why Brian Flores stuck with Ryan Fitzpatrick as long as he was sticking with him, because Ryan Fitzpatrick was actually winning games. Tua was not.
Were they like 5-3 with Fitzpatrick?
They were 8-4 with Ryan Fitzpatrick as a starter.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they were 8-4.
And they were 2-4 with Tua as a starter.
I don't know. I think the problem with Tua is Tua just don't have elite arm talent.
He doesn't, and that's why he's going to get exposed, because Tyreek Hill cannot be a route running receiver.
To me, he don't have elite arm talent, and he's still slow at reading the defenses and finding.
Yeah, I think he's slow in reading defenses also.
And the only reason I don't think they're going to finish last is because I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to start, and I think he's going to be a much better fit.
No, the Jets are actually better if you look at the Jets.
Did you hear what Mike McDougal said, their new head coach?
Yeah.
He wants to use Tyreek Hill like Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
If that's his game plan. Tyreek Hill is going to be dead in week 4. Because he is not as big as Deebo Samuel, and he cannot take the punishment that Deebo Samuel took last year. If that's what Mike McDougal's plan is with Tyreek Hill's dead in week 4. He's not finishing the year.
And with the quarterback you have, Tyreek Hill's not a good fit.
No.
He's not a great route runner, so you don't run a lot of short routes. You don't have
the perfect fit.
Don't have a big arm.
The perfect fit for Miami would have been to get Jarvis Landry back.
And Tyreek Hill's good when the play breaks down. Now you're with a quarterback that's not good running around like he can't run around like Mahomes could. So to me, it's just Tyreek Hill's.
He can move around like Mahomes, but I don't think he has the eyes as
or the arm.
He can move around like Mahomes, but he doesn't have the arm strength to make something happen out of it.
Yeah, Mahomes' arm strength is like Tyreek Hill don't realize Patrick Mahomes' like talent is a special type of talent.
Tyreek Hill doesn't realize that you can't let Tyreek Hill doesn't realize that Mahomes is the only quarterback that you cannot overthrow Tyreek Hill. But everybody else can underthrow him.
Yep. I think we're going to see a lot of that this season. Well, unless he does try to use him like Deebo Samuel, because you're not going to see Hill.
You can't use him like Deebo. Deebo's type of game is physical run punishment.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill is not physical.
But you heard Tyreek Hill say he'd rather take a 5-yard slide and take it 50 yards than what Mahomes are doing.
You also heard Tyreek Hill say that Tua throws the prettiest football that he's ever seen.
I'm not gonna lie, Tua is very accurate and his ball placement is crazy. But he doesn't have a stronger arm than Baker.
No. Doesn't have a stronger arm than Josh Allen, who threw a ball 85 yards on the freaking fly in the playoffs.
Josh Allen's a different type of guy, though. It's that guy. I'm not gonna lie. Josh Allen is probably the only quarterback I'll take over Herbert if they let us trade him.
Still the greatest throw I've ever seen is that throw that he had to Gabby Davis in that playoff game.
People talk about Mahomes got some of the best arm talent they ever seen. I'll put Josh Allen in that race too.
No, Josh Allen puts Mahomes to shame, and
Josh Allen can throw 90 yards.
If you remember watching his combine video, I don't know or his pro day video, he took a knee at the goal line and he threw 85 yards. He threw 85 yards off his knees,
and he's doing it in Buffalo.
Yeah,
where it's cold.
Yeah, 85 yards on the fly off his knees without stepping into the throw.
And his development, as fast as he's developed in the NFL, has been great.
No, the crazy
amazing
thing
as
about
well.
it, everybody thought he was going to suck. Like his first rookie year, people were like, Josh Allen's going to be a bust. Next year, he improved and made it to the playoffs. And then the year after that, he just became a different dude.
Credit Brian Dable for that.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Which is exactly.
But you see, a lot of coaches are getting drafted from that. I'm getting picked up from that Bills.
That's what worries me, though. That's what worries me a little bit about the Bills is losing Dable.
Here's a question for you: if Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield was on the clock, do you think that the Bills would have gone with either one of those two guys?
No,
I think because
Baker
Mayfield and Sam Darnold was in a heated area. Josh Allen was the only one that was playing in a cold climate.
He was used to the same elements as
needed
Buffalo.
A quarterback that could throw a ball in the cold weather climate. So that's where you get your Carson Wentz's and your Josh Allen's.
Well, Carson Wentz played indoors.
He played in a dome in North Dakota State. I'm tripping.
Yeah, but like if you look at the weather in Buffalo, no one's going to disagree that the weather in Buffalo is probably the hardest weather to deal with on like a weekly basis because you don't know what you're going to get.
Yep.
But if you look at the college atmosphere, playing in Wyoming has the toughest weather to deal with.
Yeah, so that's why they got Josh. I think if Cleveland would have I honestly think if Cleveland would have did more research, I think they would have got Josh Allen instead of. I think Baker Mayfield, he had the Heisman Trophy. Oklahoma's one of the best teams in college for the past 3 years because of him. That put a lot of name in this guy. But if you look at talent, Josh Allen all day.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the people were saying that Mayfield shouldn't have been the number 1 pick that year. If you remember when it came out, the Browns was going to pick him.
Since we're talking about the Dolphins, remember, Chris, I say this every time. Thank you, Miami Dolphins, for drafting Tua Tagovailoa before Justin Herbert. You guys.
If it had been up to Flores, you guys would have had Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Not you guys, the Dolphins would have had Herbert. I mean,
yep.
I know people wanted Herbert instead. Only got Joe Burrow. I understand Joe Burrow being the first pick. He won the Heisman. He had the best college season ever.
The thing with Brian Daboll now, though, and if I'm a Giants fan, I'm very curious to see this because I've said this many times. I'm not going to sit here and say Daniel Jones is anywhere close to Josh Allen from like
Daniel Jones is bad.
From like a talent side of things, because from a talent level, Josh Allen is miles better than what Daniel Jones is. But if you look at how Daniel Jones and Josh Allen play, they play a very similar style. So if Brian Daboll was able to do what he did with Josh Allen and basically turn Josh Allen from a mediocre quarterback to an MVP candidate in 2 years, I'm curious to see what he can do with Daniel Jones.
You want me to be honest with you? I think Daniel Jones has been screwed because the Giants are terrible when it comes down to building a line. And he's been sacked many times. And I think coaching too, because who was the coach last year?
Joe Judge.
Yeah, Joe Judge. And I don't personally think Daniel Jones been in the best situation. So I think
he hasn't been. I agree.
With the line, I think Daniel Jones, with the talent wise and the speed, they can use him very well in there. And they just upgrade. They upgraded their line. That's the first time I've seen in a while where they upgraded their line.
But the other thing too that I think is going to happen, and this is mainly because Daboll's the head coach. Joe Shane, who was the assistant GM, is now the GM in New York. I think Mitch Trubisky ends up in New York next year. Mainly because the Steelers drafted Kenny Pickett. Pickett's not going to be one of those quarterbacks that you're going to sit on the bench for 3-4 years. Brian Daboll wanted Mitch Trubisky to come to New York for a reason.
You think Pickett
Trubisky's better than Jones?
I think Trubisky's better than Jones because Trubisky actually got the Bears to the playoffs twice with a terrible head coach.
Bears had the best defense in football.
His first year in the playoffs, yes, not the second time.
Second year, they were 8-8. Now I'm not gonna lie. Trubisky, they
were 8-8, but they were 6-3 when Trubisky started that year.
Don't get me started about Matt Nagy.
That's true.
Yeah. The year that they went 8-8 and made the playoffs, Trubisky was 6-3 as a starter. He started the year 3-1, got benched for Nick Foles. Nick Foles won 2 games, so the Bears started 5-1 that year. Then they lost 6 games in a row with Nick Foles and went back to Trubisky, who went 4-1 down the stretch to get him into the playoffs. So Trubisky was 6-3. If he would have played the full 16 games, they'd probably win 10 or 11 games. And that's with Matt Nagy calling plays.
We knew Matt Nagy was bad when Justin Fields had the best game he had that whole season when he was out.
Yep.
Do you think there's a chance that Pickett will start this year for the Steelers?
I don't think he starts.
I don't think so.
I think he starts at the end of the year if Pittsburgh's already in the playoffs or if they've been eliminated.
I can't remember the guy's name, but the only quarterback that I think is a rookie that's going to start this year is the guy in Atlanta. I can't remember the guy's name.
Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Ridder. Yeah, I think he's going to start because I don't think Mariota is going to last that long.
I think there'll be a different rookie quarterback starting.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think no rookie quarterback is going to start. I think Trubisky is going to actually bring Pittsburgh like a 7th seed because I'm more confident in I'm more confident in Mike Tomlin than I am in Trubisky. Mike Tomlin's a great coach, Hall of Fame coach.
I think Trubisky could be a decent quarterback in the league. I've always said that.
I think Trubisky can do what.
I think a lot of it was Nagy.
It was all Nagy. It wasn't a lot of it. It was all
Nagy's awful. Don't get me wrong.
Here's just to put this into perspective for you, Chris. Bill Lazor called plays.
Yeah.
For 4 games when Trubisky started. Trubisky was 3-1 in those 4 games with his only loss coming to Green Bay. He had 11 touchdowns and 1 interception in those 4 games that Bill Lazor called plays.
Oh yeah.
Matt Nagy calls plays. He's got 10 touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
Yeah, Bears was a lot better offense when Razor got to call the plays. That's why I never understood why Nagy took the play calling back. Because, like, dude, you suck at play calling. You've already proved it.
He wanted to prove a point.
He sucks in general.
He proved the wrong point.
Who's the Bears coach now?
Matt Eberflus, the old defensive coordinator for the Colts.
That's a good pickup.
I think he'll be.
Colts had an underrated defense also.
Yeah, well, the bigger pickup in Chicago is their offensive coordinator.
Chris, how you feel about your Colts this year? Y'all winning the division?
I think we win the division. Just scares me if Matt Ryan gets hurt.
Yo, I know you are happy when you see AJ Brown out the division. You say, yes, we got this.
I'm still waiting for him to pick up Julio. I think that's going to happen.
Julio's hurt all the time.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but you're not going to have to use him as an every down receiver anymore, though.
Yeah, if we can get him just a little bit out of him and that connection he has with Ryan.
But what sophomore quarterback you think will have the biggest jump?
What sophomore quarterback?
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson.
That's tough because the one I want to say I still don't think is going to play.
Trey Lance?
Yeah.
I think he's going to play. I think he's going to beat Jimmy Garoppolo at a training camp. And if they
the only reason why I would agree.
Chris, you're going to like this. I think the Colts should go ahead and go get Jimmy Garoppolo.
If Trey Lance beats out Jimmy Garoppolo, then I agree. But with $28 million coming to him, I don't know how you can put him on the bench.
I think the best fit for Jimmy is the Colts. That's me.
I have to think about that answer that you asked. Now I think about it, I'm agreeing with you. I think Zach Wilson.
I think Mac Jones.
I don't.
I think they turned Mac Jones loose a little bit more this year, mainly because they added Devontae Parker.
I like Matt Jones, but I think Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to do good, but he's not going to be like Zach Wilson's actually going to play better. I think Justin Fields is going to play a lot better. I think they're going to open Justin Fields way more loose. I think they're going to do more offenses. Like, I'll use Justin Fields how they use Kyler Murray up in Arizona.
You changed my answer now because of you bringing in Trevor Lawrence. I'm actually going to say Davis Mills
from Houston.
Yes, because if you look at how he played that final month of the season, he was playing better than any other rookie quarterbacks out there.
I like Davis Mills.
He played decent last year. That's for
last month of the season. Davis Mills put up the best records out of all the rookie quarterbacks,
especially in the Chargers game.
Kellen Mond's not getting on the field for the Vikings unless Kirk Cousins gets hurt. That's the only way I see Mond getting on the field.
Who?
Kellen Mond, or Damien said Kellen Mond could be good if the Vikings give him a game to play.
The fact that they re-signed Sean Mannion again is what Minnesota thinks of Kellen Mond.
Sean Mannion's horrible too.
Yeah, the fact that he's been the backup the last 3 years when they had a guy on Kellen Mond last year, that shows you what they feel about
MVP. You ain't no Mond. I'm not even gonna tell y'all. Number 10 from Los Angeles.
I would say I think Justin Herbert has a good shot at maybe getting MVP this year because the Chargers have definitely improved their defense.
Yeah, Freddie, I will let you know if we're in. I don't want to see no Chargers anything.
He might switch because they're both in LA.
You know how bad I'll be.
I do think it's kind of funny though. I think it was Michael Concesio who said this. Yeah, if you're rooting for the Chargers, basically like rooting for the Clippers, and he's all like, "Oh, Freddie's all like, oh yeah, you have a point." Next year later, the Chargers make a Super Bowl and win it.
And the Clippers.
That would be so hilarious.
I think the Chargers are going to be real good. Buffalo's going to be real good.
They just added Bob Miller to their defense.
The AFC is going to be tough because I think the Colts are going to be a lot better than we were last year.
I think the
Bengals,
no-brainers for the
Raiders.
AFC.
I mean, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's not going to
No-brainers
get
for the
sacked all the
AFC
time.
playoffs. I have
think Matt
one
Ryan
team
get a
that I
bad
think
rep.
is going to be a no-brainer to make the playoffs, and I think that's the Buffalo Bills. Everybody else, I can see them missing it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Deontay. I don't think Matt Ryan was the problem with the
No, I think the Colts in the playoffs. I think the Colts are going to win.
I think the Colts are going. I just don't think that I could see it. I can see a possibility where they don't.
I don't see a possibility. I don't.
And that's only if the Titans make it.
Only reason the Colts don't make it is because of receiver play.
That's the only thing that worries me is our weapons at receiver. Other than that, we have a solid defense, and we added Gilmore to our defense, and we already had a good defense, pretty good, solid defense. The only thing that worries me is the receiving core. We did it, and we also added Lindsey at running back, so that'll be another good weapon for the offense.
What about the Panthers, though? How y'all feel the Panthers are going to do? I think they slip in at 7.
I think they can make the playoffs. A lot of people are forgetting how good the Panthers defense is. Panthers have a good defense. If one of these quarterbacks,
and they got good weapons.
What'd you say?
They got good weapons. DJ Moore,
they got good weapons too. Yep.
And Roby.
Mm-hmm. And people say, "Oh, McCaffrey gets hurt." Well, they also have what is it, Chuba Hubbard?
Yeah, he was playing pretty good too.
Yeah, he's a real solid running back. So,
but I agree though, the AFC is going to be harder to make it out than the NFC. I can see my Chargers not making it because of our division.
Oh yeah, the AFC is definitely.
That's the only reason, like the Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos, Raiders, you can see us not making it because the division is legit the toughest in football. I also can see, if you want to be honest with you, all 4 of us making it.
Yeah, I think all 4 are going to make the playoffs, but the AFC is definitely a lot deeper than what the NFC is.
NFC is talking about the NFC, the no-brainers for me.
I think the Patriots not making it.
What?
I don't think the Patriots making it though.
I don't think
the Patriots are going to make playoffs either.
I think it's going to be probably 3 or 4 AFC West teams: the Colts, the Bengals. Depending if Cleveland gets Deshaun Watson or not and how many games he's suspended, I see Cleveland making it.
The teams I can see in the AFC making it, and I know that's obviously more than 7, but every AFC West team, I see Bengals and Ravens and Browns making it. I can't see Pittsburgh though.
I don't see Titans. I see nothing. I see the Colts.
I see Colts. I see Jaguars. Not Jaguars. I'm sorry. That's a brain fart. Titans.
I don't. You got to have a receiver. And Ryan Tannehill is not good at all. Yeah. I honestly don't think – I have no faith in Ryan Tannehill if he doesn't have a receiver.
And then I see the Bills, but that's the only no-brainer for me. And then no-brainers for me in the NFC.
I can't see the Chiefs out there. I think the Chiefs are probably most likely in the playoffs.
The no-brainers for me in the NFC are the Rams, Bucks, the Eagles,
Rams,
and
Bucks, Eagles.
Both the Packers and the Vikings.
Yeah, Packers is a no-brainer. Actually, no, I think the Vikings going to win that division. I think it's going to be the best time Vikings going to win the division.
Actually, I'm going to add in one other team.
Yeah, I kind of agree just because who's Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball to? That's the only thing. That's what worries me about Green Bay is are any of them receivers going to be able to step up?
I get that.
That's what worries me about Green Bay. That's why I kind of agree with Deontay that Minnesota might be able to win that division this year.
I agree that I can see that the winning the NFC North is not quite a no-brainer for me. But I only see it like being a no-brainer because it's Aaron Rodgers and they make the playoffs almost every year.
I think they'll make the playoffs.
He was hurt.
I think they'll make the playoffs. I'm just saying they might not win their division.
Yeah, they're a no-brainer for me to make the playoffs, but they're also a no-brainer for me for losing the first round.
I'm not gonna lie. Do y'all see the Cardinals making it?
No. No,
I don't, because you're not gonna have your best receiver for like 6 games, and
they're the Cleveland
Kyler
Browns
Murray
of
just
the
not.
NFC.
He's
You
not
know why I
Has
think it's a
so
for sure
many
team?
problems.
Because he's gonna play. I think the 49ers. I think the 49ers is a for sure team. If Deebo Samuels is on the,
I agree with you.
I'm not gonna lie. If Deebo Samuels is playing in San Francisco next year, 49ers is most likely the third best team in the NFC, and they're most likely the team that can beat the Rams and the Bucks. That's a Super Bowl. That's a Super Bowl contender. I'm not even gonna lie. I think Kyle Shanahan. I love Bill. I don't consider Bill in a top coach. I think Bill's like a coaching god. So I'm not gonna put Bill in it. If it's not without Bill Belichick, I think Kyle Shanahan is better than Sean McVay when it comes down to coaching. Due to the fact what he has, he doesn't have a all-pro quarterback, a Pro Bowl quarterback. He doesn't have this. He has big name players, and then that defense make noise.
Yep.
49ers, that defense making noise. I think the Saints got the best defense in football, but that 49ers defense is neck and neck with the Saints. I love Joey. I'd rather have Nick.
No, I agree. The 49ers defense is going.
And then Fred Warner, one of the best middle linebackers in football. Their secondary play, they're so spot on. Like they can play. And then George Kittle, top 2 tight end. You have Deebo Samuel, the best weapon in football, but he's a top 5 receiver. You have a top 5 rushing attack.
Yep.
And then you got the play call from Kyle Shanahan. And look what they did last year. They shut down Aaron Rodgers. They beat the brakes off the Cowboys. And they could have beat the Rams.
I read a stat actually that every year
they were right there to win that. I mean, they were right there in that game.
I read a stat actually that every year since Aaron Rodgers became the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, they have lost to the San Francisco. Every time they play the San Francisco in the playoffs, they lose. But the following next round, the 49ers somehow end up losing.
I'm not going to lie. That's not fair because the last 2 times was Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship, but the rest of them times he's in that, it's the other reason the Packers lost was literally because the Packers defense was horrible.
Oh yeah. He would score 30 something points in the
and they'll give up 40
games and lose.
Or lose in overtime.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers give out one of the best drives ever, and then somebody will march down the field and get a field goal or a touchdown.
Yep.
Most likely Eli Manning, San Francisco, and Seattle. Those are the teams that beat him. And most of the time, those were the best defenses in football that he was playing against.
No, I agree. Let's get the final thoughts of the day. You got any final thoughts, Nate?
Yeah, I actually have one. So I talked about the for sure teams, but the ones that I think that I'm on the fence about for the AFC, that's literally everybody except for New England, Houston, Jacksonville. Oh, well, let me phrase that statement. Everybody in AFC East except for the Buffalo Bills, Houston, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, and that's it. Just those 6. Everybody else, I can see a chain where they make the playoffs. AFC is just that tough. That's my final thought.
Okay. You got any final thoughts, Deontay?
AFC is the best conference in sports. And it's to get out the Super Bowl, I think whoever makes out the AFC is winning the Super Bowl. I don't care who's in it. because they're going to be the most battle tested.
I agree with that. I do. I think the AFC is the best conference. I think the
Super Bowl. Not just football. I think the AFC is the best conference in sports, Chris.
Okay. I think the AFC will. Whoever comes out of the AFC will win the Super Bowl. My final thoughts are: hopefully the Reds. We're off today. Hopefully we can play good against the Yankees this series.
Wait, what? Hold on. Breaking news: Seahawks making a move to trade for Jimmy G. I hope he's joking.
I haven't seen that yet, but
if they are, I don't ever see a time where Jimmy G will go to a NFC West team.
Yeah, that's what would surprise me.
I'm not seeing anything about that.
I still don't think they make it to the playoffs because of Seattle's line.
No, but he's a hell of a lot better option than Drew Lock.
Yeah, Drew Lock's horrible. He's not horrible, but Seattle's how Seattle been talking. They very much if they doing that, they should have just took that. They literally traded a 4th and 5th rounder for Baker Mayfield. Seattle could have did that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie. I kind of think they're the similar player. Jimmy G just has a defense. And he's great at managing the game. He will do it at the right time.
Yeah.
Baker's going to sling it. One thing I like about Baker's going to sling it, and Baker's ball placement is arguably one of the best in football. Like, the problem with Baker is I don't think the coaches gave him time to develop.
Look at Jordan's Twitter page. That's the source.
But if Jimmy G's in Seattle, that's a good pickup, but I would have just traded for Baker Mayfield. If I see anybody trade for Jimmy G, I'm literally going to say that's like trading for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. I can see the comparison.
I think that's exactly the same. Because don't forget, when Baker Mayfield was healthy, there was a defense. There was a first down away from going to the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
And it was because of a Matt Moore ran a 20-yard first down.
Yep.
So,
I agree. Because Baker,
Seattle's not making it to the playoffs, though. I don't care who they get at quarterback. They have to get an elite quarterback.
I keep saying Baker. People forget how bad Cleveland was before Baker got there. I mean, Baker got Cleveland to the playoffs. Before Baker Mayfield got to Cleveland, they had 2 or 3 seasons without winning a game or only winning like 1 game. I understand he didn't get them to where they wanted to go, but people act like Baker. A lot of people act like Baker was just flat terrible. He never had the same offensive. He had 3 or 4 different head coaches, 3 or 4 different offensive coordinators. Wasn't no consistency there.
Facts. And I think in Carolina he has consistency. He had a young team that he can develop because he had a lot of veterans on that team too. It wasn't really a lot of young guys. Yeah. So he's gonna have some dudes around his age. He's gonna sit there, talk. Him and Sam Darnold probably gonna compete. They're gonna talk. Like, he got a young core where he can build, and he got a coach that's trying to build something in Carolina, and they're saying, hey, he's the guy. So he's out here trying to build like that. So I think it's gonna help him a lot. I think he's gonna play very good. I think the Panthers actually gonna make it to that playoff spot. I got them at that 7th seed.
I think they have a good shot of making the playoffs this year. I really do. You add Baker, and then with the defense they have and the offensive weapons, I like Matt Rule. I do. I think the Panthers will make the playoffs.
Well, if y'all was any team, would y'all trade for Sam Darnold? He's young. He's the same age as Baker.
Yeah. Maybe just because you wouldn't have to give up a lot for him. So if you still believe there's some upside in him, you wouldn't have. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have to give up a whole lot to get him, and it wouldn't be like you'd be breaking the bank paying him.
So if your Colts told him to sit behind Matt Ryan for a year and we'll play around you, would you take it?
Yeah, I would take him as a backup because if you see that he ain't going to be the guy, you can get rid of him, and you're not.
And he's a backup till Matt Ryan retires.
I wouldn't be mad at that move, just because, like I'm saying, if they decide that he's not the guy, because they're going to see him that whole year in practice and stuff, they decide he's not the guy, you can get rid of him and find somebody else to replace Matt Ryan because you wouldn't be paying Darnold that big of a contract.
Okay, yeah, I see that. I think that.
I mean, they're not obviously the Colts aren't going to do that because they got Foles as their backup right now. So they just
which is not a bad backup.
No, and they just brought him in, because he knows the offense and everything. So
won a Super Bowl with that offensive coordinator.
And I think where Foles is going to can be big at is helping Matt Ryan. Getting them acclimated to that offense and getting comfortable with it because how well Foles knows Frank Reich's system. So I think that was a big thing about bringing Foles in as a backup.
I like your Colts. Your Colts actually, if your Colts play the right way, y'all can make it to the Super Bowl.
Well, because we're gonna have a strong defense. Like you said, what worries me really is our receivers. That's going to be the key. We need Pittman to really step up this year. He showed a lot of improvement last year. So
he played very well. I'm surprised T.Y. Hilton haven't got picked up yet.
Yeah, that surprises me.
I'll take him as our slot.
Your
Broncos too are nice.
His problem is staying healthy. That's why his problem's been the last couple seasons. He didn't play very much last year.
Yeah, Nate, your Broncos nice too. Y'all not better than us, but y'all nice.
They finally got a quarterback.
I don't like her. I don't like her pass rush.
Bradley Chubb?
Not pass rush. Gosh.
Secondary?
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we can't
pass
stop the
blocking.
Run. We can't stop the run. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Run defense. Okay.
Run defense. I don't like it.
Hey, I love my team.
I mean, we got some good pieces.
I love my team. We got Randy Gregory helps a lot. We got Khalil Mack that's going to help our run defense and our pass rush. We still got Linval Joseph. We added J.C. Jackson, and people sleep on that Kyle Van Noy pickup. I'm not sleeping.
Hey, Van Noy's a solid player. I don't know why he keeps getting shipped around because that dude's a solid player, man.
Yeah, New England.
He started off with New England, then went to Miami, then went back to New England.
Yeah,
he knows that system. He's going to play the right way. He's going to be where I need him to be.
And he was disappointed when Miami got rid of him because he loved it in Miami.
Yeah, he played on a bad team, Miami. He's playing on a team where it's gonna be, and we got one of the best secondaries, Derwin James, J.C. Jackson, Asante Samuel coming back from his second year. We're gonna have move Chris Harris to the slot corner. We still got Davis and all of them. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack is top 5 pass rush, and then our offense we're signed. We re-signed Mike Williams. Only thing I don't like, we don't have a 3-down back. Only thing, but everything else. Austin Eckler had 20 touchdowns last year. I think we're gonna do the same thing with him, and Justin Herbert gonna do what it do.
No, I think you have good reason to be excited about your Chargers. I really do. They made some. They had a good offseason, real good offseason.
I think that any team that scores any teams that favors the running side a little bit more will either A, beat us, or B, keep this game close. Now, I don't think that
y'all gonna have to beat us with a shootout this year.
Now look at first game. Seattle Seahawks. If if Jimmy G's not their quarterback, I seriously think that they're going to use their running game a little bit more. Do I think we're going to win in the first game? Of course, yeah. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
All right.
Keep it like a 14-point 1 touchdown, maybe 2 touchdown difference.
Y'all got Russell Wilson. Y'all are finna sling the ball.
Yeah. I just think that they are also going to score some points as well.
But y'all are going to sling the ball. So y'all going to put up probably like 25 to 30 points a game. That's what I'm saying. The only reason the AFC is wild because mostly all the best teams got quarterbacks that have a potential chance that put up 30 every night. Every day. And that's the only thing because in the Colts, Matt Ryan led the league in scorings. Russell Wilson slings the ball. Matt Ryan's always in top 10 in passing yards and passing touchdowns. My God led the league in passing yards last year. You have Mahomes. We know what he do. Lamar Jackson, he doesn't do it, but the Ravens just somehow puts up 30 points on you. I never understood that. But I swear, Chris, I never understood that. Ravens can get 30 points on you and they don't even throw the ball. They just so explosive. And like the AFC, you're going to have to put 30 or 40 points up. That's why I think the Broncos are going to be nice because Russell Wilson is MVP caliber quarterback. He was just on a bad team, and he's on a better team now.
It's going to be a fun NFL season. We're less than a month away from the preseason starting, so getting closer and closer every day.
Now, watch preseason.
I don't watch
players.
I don't
not,
watch
not for like
scorekeeping
and all that kind of stuff, but just for the players.
I like to see what we got. I like to see like our corners. I want to see what our rookie line do.
Yeah.
I want to see. We drafted a running back. I want to see how he looks. So
yeah.
In fact, the only reason why I want to watch the Hall of Fame game this year,
I also want to see Malik Willis,
is because we would play both the Raiders, obviously, because they're in our division, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so there might be 1 or 2 pieces where, hey, I can see them play as a starter. If somebody goes down, or if you, in a Lamar Jackson situation.
Yeah, I watch preseason here and there. I don't watch it like I do the regular season. Regular season, that's what I do on Sundays. I don't when it's football season. I usually don't leave the house on Sundays. I'm watching football all day.
Me too. My woman be getting mad. She said, "Let's go out. Let's go to brunch or something. Let's go get something to eat." I said, "I'm not gonna lie. Football season. It's football season.
I gotta be back home. I gotta be back by 1.
This game, 1:30 is the next game. Then you got the 8:31, and I said Monday, and you got me Monday night."
Oh yeah. I tell them football starts at 1. If you need anything done on Sunday, you better get a hold of me before 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
especially if the Colts play at 1, because during
Pacific
Colts game, you're not getting hold of me.
Pacific time zone. Football starts at 10 in the morning, unless you're talking about a London game, which that would be starting at 6:30 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
No.
So what we did last year, because we also are renovating the house, is that we would actually work on the garage while I have this laptop that I'm broadcasting, the same laptop they're broadcasting on to Facebook and all that. Basically, I've been putting games on that laptop while working on putting walls up for the garage.
Oh yeah, but all right, we're gonna get out of here for today. We will see. Thanks for joining us, Dave, for the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. On behalf of Nate, Deontay, Dustin, I appreciate everybody coming on, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern here on the ASAP Sports Network. Please go make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube, Facebook pages, and all that. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your face.